I know you mentioned policy a little bit when it comes to this. So what would you like to see actually done more on a federal level when it comes to either from Congress or the White House? What do you think that they can actually do to address this issue?
Yeah, so we need new legislation. We need legislation to protect our carbon sinks. For example, on our national forests, we still have a commercial logging program based on, many, many decades old statutes that just don't have a place anymore in a 21st century world. We need to protect our national forests, get the U.S. Forest Service out of the logging business, and keep the carbon in our forests. That's one key thing. And that would help shift away from that kind of backcountry approach and shift our focus toward communities. The second thing is basically take the billions and billions of dollars of taxpayer money that we're currently spending inappropriately on backcountry logging and other backcountry activities and focus them on home hardening, defensible space, community protection work that will actually save homes and lives.
Well, that's the end of my questions. Is there anything else you would like to add that you think people should know when it comes to the line fire or wildfires in general?
Well, I would just kind of expand a little bit on your last question and just say
Mhm.
that we have, a number of bills introduced in Congress, and it's not just any one. I mean, we see them again and again, and oftentimes by people who, care about these issues, or at least say they do. So like I think their intentions are good. Um, but typically we'll see $30 billion proposed for backcountry logging and vegetation removal, and like $3 billion for community protection through home hardening defensible space. That's exactly the wrong
Mhm.
approach. It should be 30 billion for home hardening
Mhm.
defensible space, and basically, we shouldn't be allocating money for backcountry logging. That's the wrong thing to do. So I think we just need to shift our priorities. We need to pay attention to the current science. And right now we were talking about the Forest Service and how they're kind of clinging to these old policies. The reason they're clinging to those old policies is because of the laws on the books that Congress needs to change. Those laws allow the Forest Service to sell trees from public lands to private logging companies and keep the revenue for their budget. So that's an incentive we no longer can afford.
Right. Well, thank you so much for explaining that all for me and breaking it down.
My pleasure.